Hi everyone. So back with the curry chicken again. This time, this video, we're going to discuss seasoning the chicken to make the curry chicken. Here are some of the ingredients that I used. I used about 5 stalks of scallion or green onions, about 4 or 5 sprigs of thyme, about 5 large cloves of garlic, a whole sweet onion. I also use the onion soup mix here. I used to use 1 pack, and you don't have to use the onion soup mix. I use it because I like the flavor that it gives when I cook certain savory dishes. So that's what I use. You can use Jamaican brand or you can use Lipton. I like both. I use about a tablespoon, not a tablespoon, a teaspoon of black pepper. I use about a tablespoon of salt, table salt. And as far as the jerk seasoning, and I know people are going to have questions about that. Why did I use jerk seasoning in my curry recipe? I use it because we as Caribbean people, sometimes we make a seasoning called green seasoning, and it has a lot of these in the green seasoning, all it is, excepting for the tomatoes, but I didn't really have time to make any more. And so when I don't have time to make green seasoning, I use the jerk seasoning in lieu of the green seasoning. And I like to use mild flavor. And if I do use the hot, I use just a little bit. So this serves as just a replacement for when I don't have time to make green seasoning. It's a shortcut. And the potatoes will go in the recipe later. I'll show you that later. So here I have everything. I have the garlic, I have the salt, I have the onion mix, I have tomato, the thyme, the scallion, the sweet onion, everything that was mentioned before. And if you notice, I'm wearing gloves. I'm wearing gloves because I like to wear my nails long. And so for sanitary purposes, I wear gloves so that I can get my hands all in there. And I just mix everything up. This is about, I would say, about 13 pounds of chicken. 13 pounds of chicken, that's a lot of chicken. It's chicken wings. I use chicken wings because that's the part of the chicken that we like the most, but you can use chicken wings, you can use chicken thighs, cut that up into pieces, into section. You can use chicken legs and cut that up. You can use any part of the chicken that you want to, but for this particular recipe, I'm using the chicken wings. And the reason I have so much chicken is because we are a large family. It's about 6 of us now that my daughter's moved out. And this is going to give me about 24 servings. So we're going to have it for lunch. We're going to have it for dinner, Sunday lunch, Sunday dinner. And then it's going to carry on over into Monday. And those who take some to work or wherever they have to be during the day. And then we would have some again at night for dinner. So that's about 24 servings. It's smart cooking. So here I am. I'm just mixing it up, just finishing it up. And I'm going to get it on the stove. Here I have a very large pot on the stove with about 1.5 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I don't know how large the pot is. I know it's more than 12 inches, but I'm not sure how large the pot is. But it's very large, and it's enough to cook the chicken, the amount of chicken that I'm cooking today. And I want to point out something. I know that I mentioned a few minutes before that after I season the chicken, I'm going to put it in the pot to cook. Die-hard Caribbean people who like to do things by the book, and I'm using air quotes. You can't see it, but I'm using air quotes. That like to season the meat from the day before, let it marinate overnight. You know, they will have something to say about this, and that's okay. The food does taste good. It tastes better if it's been marinating overnight or marinating for a few hours. But sometimes, you know, life happens and you don't have time to do that. So it's okay to season the meat just right before you're ready to cook it, and it'll taste good all the same. The chicken is in the pot, and I'm going to add about 1 cup to 2 cups of water, because the chicken has all the curry powder on it, and it's going to be very dry if I don't add the water. So I added the water, and I'm going to let the chicken cook for about 45 minutes to 50 minutes. And I'm going to have that on the medium-high temperature with a cover, and about maybe 20 minutes before it's finished cooking, I'm going to cut up some potatoes. I'm going to dice the potatoes or cut them up in cubes, large cubes, and I'll add it. So I'll be right back to show you the size of the potatoes and how it looks and how the chicken is looking before I add the potato. Okay, everyone. The curry chicken has been cooking for about 56 minutes. So I added some large cubes of potatoes. I sliced and I peeled, sliced, and diced about 5 large potatoes, 5 large white bacon potatoes, and I added them to the curry. So right now I'm just going to stir everything up. If you use other parts of the chicken, i.e. chicken breast, which is a little bit drier, it would cook a whole lot faster. If you use chicken thighs and chicken legs, that would cook a whole lot faster. The chicken wings take a little bit longer to cook in this process, this recipe. But I'm going to just stir it. And so everything's nicely stirred. And if you take a look at it, it's a lot of water in the pot. It seems like a lot. What I'm going to do is just add just a tad bit, maybe a cup more, because as the potato starts to cook, it's going to thicken up the gravy. And when I turn off the stove and everything's settled down, all the ingredients, everything's settled down, what's going to happen is the potato is going to soak up a lot of the gravy. It's going to soak up a lot of the liquid in the pot, and then you're not going to have much gravy. So that's why it's a little bit important to add a little bit more water. So I added about a cup of water more to the pot, and if you see right here in the middle, I added this red pepper, this red chili pepper. You can use habanero if you don't have Scotch bonnet, which is what a lot of Caribbean people use. They use the Scotch bonnet pepper. But if you don't have Scotch bonnet, you can use the habanero. And just leave it here in the pot, and you cover the pot, and everything will steam. The potatoes would start to cook and thicken up the gravy. And you don't want to leave this in too long. So what you're going to do is you're going to cover the pot, and you're going to let everything steam, finish cook down. This pepper is going to shrivel up some more, and before it bursts, so you'd have to kind of watch it. This is my first time making a video and timing everything, so I'm not sure how many minutes, but you want to just keep an eye, maybe about 15-20 minutes, and make sure it doesn't burst open, because if it bursts open, the food's going to be too hot, too spicy, because of all the spicy seeds in the pepper. So you want to remove this before it bursts open. And I'm going to return as soon as the food is done. Okay guys, it's been about 27 minutes since I added the potatoes and added the pepper. Here's what the pepper looks like. So it's shriveled up a little bit. I think I'm going to leave it in for another few minutes. The potatoes, they are beginning to cook, or they have begun to cook, but they're not quite cooked yet, so I can't really, break through it with the pot spoon. So what I've done is I've lowered the fire. The chicken is just about cooked, and I lowered the fire. It was on medium high, so I have it lowered to just medium temp. And I'm going to cover the pot again. And just, again, remember, this is my first time making videos, cooking videos. And before that, I didn't really time the cooking process. I just pretty much eyeballed everything, just tasted and we go. And I think a lot of Caribbean people are like that. We don't really have written recipes with length of time for cooking our meals. We just, you know, we taste and we go. We taste as we go as far as measurements for ingredients, and we pretty much eyeball the food, and that's how we know that it tastes good and it's ready. So I'll see you when the food is actually done. The curry chicken finished cooking, so I'm going to plate and post pictures of the finished product.